Good afternoon everyone and welcome to Crafty Monday. Today we're doing sketch number 7 and we have got our kangaroo, our little kangaroo. Oh, these creatures that you can make with punches, dies, whatever you have in your stash at home, you can actually put together as a little creature. You just need to look through all your die cuts. That's the only thing but I have put a list of what I've used on my thing because quite interesting. You can use a lot of different leaves, ovals. It's quite amazing what you can actually put together to put these little Aussie creatures together, which is Aussie month this month, and it's all about making our little Aussie characters. Don't forget we have our Aussie colouring book as well. It is full of ideas, great for your kids. This is great for your grandkids, your kids. The book, each character is $5 and I send them through to you on an email. And then you can also add an extra $5 too. So you can choose which characters you want to put your grandchild and yourself into it as well, like I did with Addie. Oh my God, she had such an amazing time doing this. And we had a little story, we've got activities, we've got so many little things, and there's so many free things on the Facebook group. So you want to join the Facebook group and have a look there too, because there's just so much happening over in our children's world at the moment. Addie wanted a craft section. She kept saying, we need a craft section for us, Nanny. So it inspired me to move into a little bit of a different area with some of our kids as well, and our grandkids, or Addie's actually my great-granddaughter. So thank you for the ideas and the suggestions that people come up with too. I really appreciate all your help coming up with lots of different ideas. Good afternoon, Suzanne. Hope you're well today. I hope your hubby's doing better. I don't know what to say because my heart just goes out for you. So let's come down and start our kangaroo. So let's see how we go. Okay, I've got to get this right. Somehow this new phone just sits a little bit differently to my old one. So I've got to make sure it's right. So I've actually embossed this already, and I use the beautiful embossing folder, but I didn't actually put this up because on the descriptions of what I use, because you can use any embossing folder that you wish. You might have leaves, you might have flowers, or you can keep it plain. So the sunflower is the one that I'm using today. Okay, so let's put our things down there as we go through them, because I have done a little bit of prepping, because otherwise we won't get it done in time. The stamp set that I have chosen to do the body of the kangaroo is this one here, and you can use this bit here for the inside if you want to put an inside if you're using a really dark color, or you can even use the lacy one if you want to dress it up a little bit as well. So it's a choice thing. And there is some cute little leaves here that you can use as well. I love that you've got some little dragonflies here that you can put around if you want to. And there's lots of little words that you can use in this one as well. Now over in this one, this big leaf here reminded me of the inside of a kangaroo ear. So this is the bit that I sort of did a little bit in pink, or this one here, it was actually down here. I did try that one first, then I went for the smaller one. So you can go with whatever you want. We also have got our owl punch. If some of you have got the owl punch, these little eyes here, I use these so many for eyes for all different characters because there's so many different circles in here that you can use. And if you don't have the L punch, you can use like also your 1/2 inch one, your 3/8 one, like the little ones, your 1 inch one. You can always use these little ones as well. You can use your, also you've got lots, 3 or 4 of these different ovals that we used to have. If you don't have dies, you can use oval punches if you've got them in your stash. Okay, so let's open this up because I punched out a lot of the stuff that I might need because I thought, time goes so fast. So I'm just going to put it as little bits aside over here. So I'm just going to put everything over here like this so we can sort of see. So we've got our feet. I'm just going to do it like this to start off with. So we've got our little koala's head. I'm just going to put the pieces out. So we've got 2 of these, 4 of these, or 6 of these, but we might not need all of them, but I think we do because we need 2 for ears, 2 for arms, 2 for feet. Yes. Then we've got the middle bit here that we can pop in, or you can do this in a different colour, or you could bring in this if you wanted to. You could bring in a smaller one of the circle, or you could even bring in this fancy one if you wanted to dress it up. And we're going to do that today. We're going to dress ours up a little bit. So we've got those little leaves for the inside of the ear. We've got our little oval here. We've got some little circles that we need. And then I've got our punch to do the little eyes. And I've got some little leaves here that I can cut off to use for the baby's ears as well. Okay, so let's start. Where do we start when we're making our card? Well, the first thing is to work out which way you want this, because the first thing you're going to put down is the body. And we're going to use dimensions because I like to put 4 dimensions. I don't like to go overboard on the dimensions because, and I don't want to go too close to the top. If you want to stick things underneath or over the top, you want to be able to do that, okay? So punch art is something a lot of my ladies that have been with me a long time know that it's one of my favorites. We used to make punch art books and do all little samples, and they were absolutely gorgeous. So, I mean, we've been doing punch art for a long time. Okay, so we've got this body down here. Now, do you want to sponge it up? You can sponge it up and bring in more character to your animal as well, okay? And if you were to do that, you would probably use your crumb cake tone on tone. That's what I normally use, tone on tone. And that just colours it up a little bit. So, say for instance, we're going to use this one. We can just come around and do a little bit of sponging in here. It will make it stand out a little bit. And you can colour this one in. I think I'll just use the plain one so I can do this technique with you. Okay, so this will just outline it a little bit, that it gives it some character. And this is going to go sort of in here, sort of more to the bottom than the top. Okay, so this is going to go in here. You could have sponged around here as well if you wanted to, and I didn't, but if you wanted to, you could. I don't know if I can take them off now because I've got them stuck down, so I'm not going to worry about it. So I'm going to use glue on this one though, so definitely needed to do this one. So this one's going like this. Try not to put right around the outer edge because you don't want it to pop out onto your kangaroo or onto it at all. You want it to sort of be you don't want the glue sticking around. Okay, so we have some feet, and I'm going to do some sponging around our feet as well. How's everyone's day been? What have you been up to today? Tell me in the comments. Have you been enjoying Aussie week, or Aussie month, I should say? It's all about Aussie month. And I just love, thank you, Robin, for ordering your colouring book for Elliot. It was so much of a privilege to put that together for you as well. Just absolutely beautiful photos with his dad and with you and his brothers. And his favourite thing was rockets, and to be able to get them sitting on the rockets flying out was just absolutely fantastic. So you've got a really beautiful keepsake there. If anyone else is interested in the colouring books, join over onto the club, and yeah, text or message me and I can help you organise your grandchild, daughter, son. I'm just trying to think of all the different people in our lives that you might want to do a colouring book for. But look, you know, I loved colouring with Addie. It was so much fun just doing colouring with her. And she picked which page I had to do. I had to do the front page for her. And I just loved it. It was so much fun. Okay, this is looking like a sheep. I was just looking at it thinking, this is looking like a sheep, but not once we get our head on. So I'm just going to, cut this a little bit because this is the head, but I want to cut it a little bit. I want to shape it a little bit. So I'm going to shape it around a little bit different. I'm going to cut a little bit off this. So I've cut that little bit off there for getting the shape of the head. So I wanted it a little bit wider there and a little bit narrower in this part here. So we're going to use a couple of dimensions on this, because I want to get the head in place. And I don't want to go too close to the top because I want to poke ears in as well. So I want the head probably about there because I've got to get the ears in. So let's do the ears next. So it's amazing how a theme can turn into a completely different way that you were intending to go with it. But I'm loving the idea of doing things for grandchildren and great-grandchildren and giving them their personal little colouring books, activity books. There's a lot of free activities also on the group that you can print out. I'm not putting it together as a book for the simple reason is it will cost more. And not just that, I think it's better that you can have it into a binder, a folder, like, you know, the sleeveless pockets. It works out cheaper for you. And then you can pull out the master copy and photocopy that as many times as you want. So they can colour in the page over and over again. And also they can do it year by year, so they can see the same page, but how they've changed in how they do that artwork. It's a great little memory thing for them. Okay, so we're going to glue our ear in here. So we're going to do that. I'm going to put this one in here more towards the top because this bit's going to poke under. And this one. Depending where you put his ears to, he will look different, and his eyes. It's quite funny, when I was having a play around with these, just playing around, not actually gluing anything, but just having a play. It's quite amazing when you put ears and eyes on your characters, how different they look, depending on where you put them and how you put them. So I'm just going to bend the ear over that way a little bit, and I'm going to put a dimension just down the bottom here. So I'm just putting a dimension down the bottom, and I've curved this around a little bit because I want this to sort of pop out here a little bit. And the same with this one, just bring it around. You can use your bone folder, but sometimes I just prefer to use my fingers. It's entirely up to you. And we're going to pop this one in. So like I said, you'll get a different look on your animals depending on where you put the ears and how you place them on. So they'll all look a little bit different. So once I sort of get my head going, and that you can actually, where's my sponge dauber? I'm just going to very lightly come over with my sponge dauber. I've got crumb cake on it. So I'm just going to come on very lightly over that face, just to make it just a little bit darker. You can add different colours in there if you want to. Okay, now I've got to do a tail. Now this is the large oval that came out of the centre of this. Okay, so this was the last oval that came out of this. I'm going to cut this now. I'm going to cut it sort of like around to wider and then coming into a smaller point for the tail. So we want this tail to, that's why I haven't put the hands on yet. We want this tail to come out here as well. But I am going to bushy up his tail a little bit, and we can darken it up a little bit at the ends. Okay. Who enjoys doing punch or die? I have to call punch or die because it is a bit of both that I use, a bit of punch and a bit of dies in my characters, because sometimes I just don't have the right size punch to make the animal look right. And I'm just going to curl his tail around a little bit. Oh, he's so cute. And we're going to bring that in from under here. So this is where his tail's sort of going to come under, and that's why I say make sure you only put some things in the middle. So we've got his tail, so we can put his feet there now. So I'm going to put one because it's going to be just off onto the here. So we're going to put one here and one on the other side. Now, depending where you put your hands, where you put your feet, how you put them, they will all look a little bit on a different look. You'll get a different look. Now, the other bit that we sort of need is the head of the baby. So we're going to use the 1-inch punch, and we're going to cut a little bit. I just put that there so you can sort of see it's only a little bit. And you can sort of see I've cut a little bit off each side to get the shape like of the baby's head. You can just straighten him up a little bit if it doesn't look quite right. You can come back and just straighten it up a little bit. Now we're going to do a baby's pouch. So we want to also, this is the bigger large punch. Oh no, this is the bigger large punch. Yes, it is. So we're going to bring this around. Now you can do this in, you can see I've just cut that much off for the pouch. You can use designer series paper too. You don't have to, if you want to make a really lovely, okay, I need my head there, my baby head. And I'm just going to darken this pocket up so it stands out a little bit. Okay, so his little pocket's going to stand out a little bit more. So we're going to come here, and on here I'm just going to use little dimensions. One there, one there, and one there, because I want to be able to put the head and everything in there. So I just want to use some little dimensions on this one. And this is going to, and I like to curl them a little bit and make them look a little bit more realistic. So this one's going to come in here. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of sponging around this head too. We want a little bit of sponging around his head for our baby. He's a little bit on the darker side. Okay, now a little dimension or two little dimensions just in here, one there and one there. Now you can just get your fingers and roll it around a little bit so it looks like the head's not flat. And we can pop his little head in here. I think about there. I think that's pretty cool. And then he's got a little pink bit on his nose, so we're going to do our nose now. So I'm just going to sponge this one around. Just to light, so it's not so bright, and just add that little bit of texture to it. Okay, so this is going to go down in here. And then we've got a little black one here, which is going to go on with the glue. And it's just going to slightly come off here, off the pink. He's starting to look so cute. And then we've got our little black eyes that we have to do with our punch, with our little eyes. I didn't bother about punching these out earlier because I thought I would lose them. Now, where did I have that little bit of black? Oh, did I use all the black? I'm sure I didn't, but anyhow, it looks like I must have. Oh no, this one's a shorter one. I'll just cut a little bit off this shorter one. Okay, and we're going to come in and get these little eyes over here. So I'm just going to, oh, I don't know if I can put the pressure on my hand, but we'll try. I'm going to have to use, there's my little ones. They are little, aren't they? Yes, but they're the ones I want. Okay, so I'm just going to put a tiny little bit, I'm going to clean that before I do that. I am, where's that? Okay, let's clean this before we do this. Okay, let's get a little bit of glue coming out, just a tiny little bit. We're just going to put a little bit there. And a little bit there. Now, you'll notice on this as well, where you put your eyes, you'll see it looks different. So we're going to get our putty on our pick tool now, and we're going to pick that up, and we're going to put that in, and the same with this one. Beautiful. And we're going to cut a couple of leaves for the ears. So we're going to use, I cut two out the same, so we can have the same if we wanted to, or you can have different, but I'm going to cut the bottom ones for the leaves. That one and that one for his ears, I should say. And then I'm going to cut these tiny little ones here up the top. Oh no, I might do the one next to it actually, and then I can use these if I want to. So I might use these ones. Okay, so let's go with these. So again, we're going to come through and just sponge his little hands. And I'm going to trim this off just a little bit because it's a little bit long. And I'm just going to use some glue and put his little hand in here. I love that you can just use shapes, like any shapes. It doesn't really matter. It just gives you the feeling that it is what it is. That's the nicest thing about it, is it doesn't have to be exactly the shape, but you can have something that's very similar to the shape, which works just as well. So we're just going to add a little bit of glue to this. And bring it around there. So we've got his little hands. And then we've got his ears, which we're going to shape up again. Where's my sponge builder? Here it is, hiding from me. How are we going for time? Oh my God. Where does that half hour go? It goes so quick. It really does. I'm going to put a little dimension in behind here. I've got to do the big one's face yet too. So this is going to come down in here. Oh, how cute is he? He's really cute. Really cute. And this one's another leaf. So we're just going to do that. And I like to sort of bend it so you get a little bit of shape into it as well. Thank you for everyone for coming on. If you're watching the replay, oh look, Lena is from Canada and she's in here watching today too. Thank you. Oh, look at this kangaroo. He is so cute. Okay, now we've got to do this one. So you can either use circles or you can use an oval. It depends how you want to see. So you can do this or you can do the circle. And you can sort of put this on the circle. So it just depends what one you want. I'm going to do the circle for you because I did a circle down there. So let's stick to the circle. But you can put an oval. So if you don't have the right shape, you can always cut. That's just cutting the circle down a little bit, and you can do that too. And don't try to be perfect when you're cutting it out, that it's perfect, like his head's not perfect, because he's not perfect when you're seeing him. He is different shaped. So I'm putting this around on a, and this is going to come onto here. It's sort of going to come around like that because we're going to put this is the that one's a half, I think. Yes, this one's a half. So I'm just going to curl his nose up just a little bit. Put some glue on this one, mainly down the bottom, not up the top, because it's got to sit sort of half off. Okay, he's looking good. And then we've got his eyes. Now, like I said, depending where you put his, put his eyes, he's a bit cross-eyed there, depending where you put his eyes will depend on how he looks also, okay? You can have your kangaroos looking all different ways. It all just depends where you put those eyes, which I love. Okay, we're getting there. We've got lots of little pieces. We've got to put his arms on yet. Put his little eyes. And we're going to get a dimension. And we're going to put one arm coming through here. Very good. And then one coming up through this side. Okay, now I don't think I need anything more here, but if you wanted to cut a little bit of like hair up there, like a little bit of hair, if you wanted to, you can. You don't have to, but this was the part that we cut off for the pouch at one end. Oh, sorry about my fingers. And we can cut that off a little bit that way. You can add a little bit of hair up there, which we can come in and sponge just to make it a little bit different. Whoop, where did it go? I think it fell on the floor. I'm not sure where that piece went. Okay, where did you go? I better stand up. I think it flew off me somewhere. Oh well, we won't be putting the hair in now. I'll put it on later and before I take the photo if I find it. I don't know where it went. I really don't. It flew away. Okay, so let's just move all this up out of the way. So I've gone with Early Espresso card, and this is just going to sit on the Early Espresso card. Okay, so I'm just going to use my glue. And this is going to come down on here. Oh, my hand. There you go. And open it up and put one on the inside. We're only going to be a couple of minutes late, but I'll have to look for the hair because I don't know where it went. It took off. It could be anywhere on the floor. Okay, so let's come up. Hi, Susan. Good to see you. Have a look at our beautiful little kangaroo. He is such a cutie, and you can do him in any colours that you want, and he will look so beautiful. And have a look at that baby. How cute is that little baby? Isn't it amazing how our leaves can look like the ears? You've got to use your little bit of imagination when you're doing these type of creative things. But don't forget, at 2 o'clock you'll see that will come up by itself is our sketch, and you'll see the sketch comes up, and it will sort of say the things that I've sort of ideas that I've used, But on the top of our video today, I've told you the stamp sets and the bundles that I have used. Now, don't forget, if you purchase bundles through Stampin' Up, you get 10% off your bundles, and it's already priced with the 10% off, which is amazing. So, thank you so much for watching me. I hope you've been enjoying Aussie Month, and let's have a look and see how your little characters turn out. God bless you all, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.